Do you think he'll add to your legacy, the fight with
Yeah,
Crawford?
glad. He's a really good fighter. 2 times undisputed champion. He accomplished so much, so can add a lot to my career.
Canelo Alvarez believes his fight with Terence Crawford will be the biggest fight of his career.
No question, you've been involved in some massive fights in your career, the GGG trilogy. Is Crawford the biggest fight because of everything around it, everyone around it, the fact that it might be on Netflix, we're hearing, as a part of a big deal with TKO?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be bigger. Even the Mayweather fight is gonna be bigger than that.
With 6 months still to go, the excitement surrounding the mega fight continues to build. Canelo, widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of his generation, believes this bout will be the biggest of his career. He has faced elite opponents in the past, including Gennady Golovkin and Floyd Mayweather, but he now considers Crawford to be his most dangerous challenge yet. Despite having fought Floyd Mayweather in 2013 in a historic bout that generated 2.2 million pay-per-view buys and over $150 million in revenue, Canelo insists that his potential fight with Crawford will surpass even that. Confident in the magnitude of this event, he expressed that it will be bigger than the Mayweather fight, showing just how much he values the significance of this challenge.
No question, you've been involved in some massive fights in your career, the GGG trilogy. Is Crawford the biggest fight because of everything around it, everyone around it, the fact that it might be on Netflix, we're hearing, as a part of a big deal with TKO?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be bigger. Even the Mayweather fight is gonna be bigger than that.
You think it does more pay-per-view buys than the Mayweather fight?
Yeah, I think so.
The stylistic contrast between the two fighters adds another layer of intrigue. Canelo, reigning as the undisputed super middleweight champion, possesses a powerful and precise approach, making him a dominant force at 168 pounds. On the other hand, Crawford is known for his agility, adaptability, and ring intelligence. Though he has traditionally fought in lower weight classes, he has shown an impressive ability to move up and compete successfully, most recently capturing a title at super welterweight. This fight will not only be a battle of skill, but also a test of whether Crawford's speed and technique can overcome Canelo's power and experience at the higher weight.
It's a good fight because Crawford's very smart. We saw what Floyd did to Canelo, so Crawford's got the IQ to do that.
Before the potential fight against Crawford, Canelo must first focus on an important challenge ahead. On May 3rd, he is set to face William Skull in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in a fight for the undisputed super middleweight title. While many are already looking past this fight toward the Crawford showdown, Canelo refuses to do the same. He has emphasized that his priority remains his upcoming fight against Skull, and that discussions about Crawford will only happen afterward. He has been clear in stating that he is training hard and focusing solely on the May bout, not allowing distractions to shift his attention.
Chris is May, no, and I don't see other fight there. So I'm focused 100% on William School because he's a good fighter. He's champion for a reason, and I need to beat him first to see other fights, right? My focus is on him 100%, and then we see.
Canelo's perspective on facing Crawford has changed significantly in recent months. Initially, he dismissed the idea, believing it was a lose-lose situation for him. He felt that if he won, critics would claim Crawford was too small to compete at super middleweight, and if he lost, it would raise questions about whether he could handle a smaller fighter with superior speed and skill. However, as interest in the fight grew, Canelo started reconsidering. He acknowledged that fans were eager to see the matchup, and because of that, it began making sense to him. His stance shifted, and he started seeing the fight as a possibility, though he remains firm that nothing will be decided until after his May fight.
If you beat him, he's too small. If he beats you, you got beat by a small man. What changed to possibly have you entertain that fight?
You know, I can see people want to see that fight too. So I think it's starting making sense, and it's a possibility there.
Yeah.
So we'll see after May.
Crawford has also undergone a change in mindset regarding this potential bout. Before his dominant win over Errol Spence Jr. in July 2023, he dismissed the idea of moving up to 168 pounds, considering it too drastic of a jump. At the time, he made it clear that super middleweight was not part of his plans. However, after moving up and winning the WBA super welterweight title against Israel Madrimov, he is now willing to test himself against Canelo. Unlike some fighters moving up in weight, Crawford has no concerns about a rehydration clause. His trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, has stated that they are fully prepared for the challenge, dismissing any concerns about Canelo's size advantage. He has expressed confidence in Crawford's chances, making it clear that they do not care about any weight restrictions and are ready to fight under normal conditions.
Listen, I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. Y'all see the water. I know who the #1 fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
If everything goes as planned, the fight is expected to take place on September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, a venue that would provide the perfect setting for such a high-profile event. Both fighters are at the peak of their careers, and the timing feels right for a matchup of this magnitude. Canelo remains the face of boxing, while Crawford continues to prove himself as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of his generation. Beyond the excitement, there is also historical significance attached to this fight. If Crawford wins, he would become the first fighter in history to be an undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. For Canelo, a victory would further cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of his era, showing that he can take on and defeat an elite opponent like Crawford, even with the risks involved in fighting a naturally smaller fighter.
William who? Canelo versus William Skull. William who? Oscar. Oscar, para encontrar
Oscar being back in New York over here.
No, let's just say Canelo Crawford, in the history of boxing, and this is the facts.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
If you see Thursdays, back Thursdays, I speak the facts. All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, and this is the truth again, it's a money grab. That's it.
Yeah. The discussion surrounding a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford has generated a wide range of opinions from boxing experts and former fighters. Many believe Canelo's size and power would be too much for Crawford to handle, while others argue that Crawford's technical brilliance and adaptability could help him overcome the physical disadvantages. Joel Diaz is among those who strongly dismiss the idea that Crawford could easily defeat Canelo, calling those who believe otherwise stupid. He emphasizes the enormous size gap between the two fighters, making it clear that Canelo's raw power could be the deciding factor in the fight. While Diaz acknowledges Crawford's skill, he argues that Crawford does not have the same ability to absorb punishment as a natural super middleweight. He highlights the massive leap in weight classes that Crawford has made, moving from 147 to 154 pounds and now potentially to 168 pounds, and warns that the extra weight could be detrimental to his performance. In Diaz's view, regardless of how talented Crawford is, he would struggle against the sheer physicality of Canelo.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
Adonis Wilkins shares a similar perspective, believing that weight will play a crucial role in the fight. He acknowledges Crawford's undeniable talent, but argues that moving up to 168 pounds could slow him down, ultimately affecting his performance. According to Wilkins, the added weight would make it difficult for Crawford to generate the same punching power as Canelo, whose strength at super middleweight is well established. He draws comparisons to Canelo's fight against Caleb Plant, pointing out that while Plant was competitive early, he began to fade as the fight went on. Wilkins predicts a similar scenario for Crawford, expecting him to lose steam in the later rounds, allowing Canelo to take over and secure a victory by the 10th round.
No, it's gonna be at 68.
That's a bad look for Crawford. I love Crawford, dog. I think he's real talented, but we see him at 154 going up in weight class, and he kind of struggled. He didn't struggle, but that weight was definitely a difference. To go up another 2 weight classes after that, we're gonna see a lot slower Terence Crawford. Yeah, his boxing ability is there, but Crawford don't hit like Canelo. Canelo's coming down for that fight. It's gonna be rough. So I'm gonna give it to Canelo. Love Crawford, but I'm gonna give it to Canelo.
Jim Lampley also remains skeptical of Crawford's chances against a physically imposing fighter like Canelo. He references Crawford's performance against Israel Madrimov as evidence that he may not be suited for higher weight classes. While he respects Crawford's boxing talent, he stresses that weight classes exist for a reason and believes the jump to 168 pounds could limit Crawford's effectiveness. Lampley questions whether Crawford would be able to withstand the physical pressure that Canelo would bring, suggesting that the weight difference will likely be the deciding factor in the fight.
What do you think about the fight now that you just witnessed Canelo Alvarez again in a masterclass performance?
I love Terence Crawford and I want him to have what he wants. But off of what I saw tonight and what I saw in Los Angeles last month when Crawford was fighting Madrimov, I am more than ever concerned that he's not big enough and not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that he would have to ward off those really vicious inside power shots. I might have thought a few months ago that I would give Crawford a logical chance to win the fight.
Amir Khan, who has faced both fighters, agrees that while Crawford is an exceptional fighter, size alone will not be enough to overcome the challenge of fighting at super middleweight. He points out that Canelo has significantly improved his skills over the years, particularly since their fight. While some claim Canelo is past his prime, Khan strongly disagrees, arguing that the Mexican fighter remains a dominant force who would present a serious challenge for Crawford.
Well, remember, Crawford then is a big boy as well. Crawford's a big guy when it comes to a box fight. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think Crawford, in my opinion, but size might matter. But then again, I think since when I fought Canelo's become a better boxer. He started boxing more better. You know what I mean? Technical more. Especially against the last fight against Mangui. He boxed really well as well. And he's looking really good. He's still, a lot of people might say, oh, he's getting old, this, that, another. But no, Canelo's still a beast.
Teofimo Lopez takes a more measured approach, urging both fighters to focus on their upcoming bouts before fully committing to the idea of a showdown. He emphasizes that in today's boxing world, a fighter's reputation is largely shaped by their most recent performance. According to Lopez, it is important to see how Canelo and Crawford perform in their next fights before making any assumptions about their potential matchup. While he acknowledges that both are elite fighters, he stresses that timing and preparation will be critical in determining the outcome of such a high-stakes fight.
Yeah, that's what it's been talking about. They've been talking about it. I mean, listen, they just gotta win their fights first, and then we'll see what happens then. You know what I mean? If they're gonna fight before they fight each other, I think that's the smartest thing for both parties. And then we see how they look, and we go from there. Because nowadays, in the modern day era, you're only as good as your last fight.
Danny Garcia also weighs in on the potential fight, recognizing the massive appeal it would have for boxing fans. He respects both fighters' abilities, but ultimately believes that Canelo's size at 168 pounds could pose a significant challenge for Crawford. Garcia points out that Canelo's power and physicality at that weight make him a difficult opponent for anyone. While he sees the fight as an exciting and competitive matchup, he leans toward Canelo having the advantage due to his experience at the higher weight class.
You know, at the end of the day, they're two great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, you know, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, you know, Canelo, he's a big dude, and I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, you know, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing.
Keith Thurman takes a slightly different stance, acknowledging that Crawford has a chance to pull off an upset, but only if he pushes himself to the absolute limit. Thurman believes Crawford would need to prepare meticulously, training at high altitudes and focusing on every small detail in his preparation. He also stresses the importance of mental strength, stating that Crawford must visualize victory and plan strategically for Canelo's counterattacks. However, Thurman questions whether Crawford can maintain his agility at 168 pounds and whether the added weight will slow him down. While he sees a path to victory for Crawford, he remains wary of Canelo's physical advantages.
I don't want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where if he really wants to win against Canelo, he's going to need to do everything. You know, you're going to need to run uphill. You're going to need to train in high altitude. You're going to need to do every little thing that gives you that, you know, athletic edge, and lots of pre-fight meditate. You know, you got to see victory before the victory manifests. You know, whether I'm going to set the trap, he's going to want to counter me, and so I'm going to counter his counter. I don't want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where it needs to be planned out, trained out, and methodically, you know, delivered on a fight night. And then the other thing is how athletic is he going to move with the extra weight on top of him. So, you know, like I said, it's just very important to train, to have the best camp that you can have, the high altitude, get all that oxygen, and just use all those little biohacking things to your advantage, to make an upset. I mean, you're going to go home a winner. You've done great things in boxing, Crawford, that is, Canelo too. They both get to be winners at the end of the day. They both get to be legends at the end of the day. But, you know, if Crawford wants to be just something that can never really be compared to, I mean, Floyd beat Canelo, but we know what Floyd beat. He beat young Canelo. He beat that not really ready for the big boys Canelo. If Crawford beats Canelo, he beat big boy Canelo.
Sean Porter also considers Canelo's size and experience as a major factor in this fight. He acknowledges that Crawford has the edge in height and reach, which could give him a tactical advantage, but he believes Canelo's vast experience against top-level opponents will be crucial. Porter sees this fight as a true test of both fighters' abilities, but ultimately, he believes that Canelo's power and experience would make him the favorite. He also notes that the timing of this fight makes sense, as Canelo has fewer big-name opponents left to face, making Crawford a natural next choice.
Another big weight discrepancy. What do you think of that? Does the weight play a factor there?
I just said it, you know? And Terence is already taller than him, you know, has the reach, you know? I'm telling y'all, that's a 50-50 fight.
Okay.
That's a 50-50 fight. It's actually perfect timing for both guys. Canelo Alvarez is losing big name fighters to fight against. There's really no one else with a big name for him to fight against. Benavidez deserves that fight.
While many experts favor Canelo due to his size, there is also a strong group of analysts who believe Crawford's unique skill set could allow him to overcome the physical disadvantages. Teddy Atlas is one of the most vocal supporters of Crawford's chances, arguing that technical ability is more important than size. He praises Crawford's boxing IQ, composure under pressure, and ability to adapt during a fight. According to Atlas, Crawford's intelligence in the ring far outweighs any concerns about his weight. He insists that the fight will ultimately come down to who can execute their strategy more effectively and who can remain calm under pressure. In his opinion, Crawford's ability to make in-fight adjustments gives him a real chance against Canelo.
I look at Crawford as one of those special guys. I don't care if you guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him, look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, well, after Madrimov fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher, you know, a unified champion that he's been, you know, all of that stuff. he's not going to be able to handle it.
Shakur Stevenson shares a similar belief in Crawford's ability to rise to the occasion. While he acknowledges the difficulties Crawford will face against Canelo's size and power, Stevenson remains confident in Crawford's skills. He sees Crawford's boxing IQ and adaptability as key factors that could help him find a way to win. Stevenson admits that Canelo is a dangerous opponent, but believes that if anyone can figure out a way to beat him, it is Crawford.
I think it's very difficult. Canelo got the IQ. He got the size, he got the power, maybe. It's a very difficult fight, but I think if anybody could get it done, it's Terence Crawford.
Frank Warren focuses on the promotional aspect of the fight, describing it as a fantastic event for boxing fans. He believes that with the right marketing, the fight could be one of the biggest events in recent boxing history. Warren sees it as a great opportunity to showcase two of the best fighters in the world and bring mainstream attention to the sport.
Our story from the ring, which of course is owned by Turki Al-Sheikh, states that on September 13th, they are going to in fact do Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Are you surprised that they got this over the line, that it appears to be a done deal for Las Vegas's Allegiant Stadium?
Look, if it's done, I mean, as a boxing fan, I can't wait to see that fight. It's a fabulous fight. If anyone can get it done, His Excellency's the man, and you know, he's been a massive fan of both those guys. And I know when we sat down, or when we sit down and talk about up and coming shows, that's one he's always wanted. He's always said he'd love to see, and I'm pretty positive that it will happen. And fingers crossed, they get that over the line, because what a fight that'll be between those two, and a great fight for American boxing.
Yes,
you know, it's a real great fight. I mean, you need great fights there.
Dmitry Bivol, who previously defeated Canelo, offers a more neutral perspective. He acknowledges Crawford's technical abilities, but stresses the importance of weight classes in boxing. Bivol believes that while Crawford's skills give him a chance, the physicality of fighting at 168 pounds could be too much to overcome. However, he does not completely rule out the possibility of Crawford winning, stating that if Crawford executes a perfect strategy, he could potentially pull off an upset.
I remember when I came to the boxing gym, one of the first lessons which I should learn, it's like you should respect weight classes. You know, yeah, what it means. But Terence Crawford now is one of the favorite fighters, active fighters. I mean, he has good skills, very good skills. Maybe he could.
Jose Benavidez Jr. is another voice supporting Crawford, believing that many are underestimating his chances. While he acknowledges Canelo's size and strength, he highlights Crawford's strategic thinking and adaptability. Benavidez argues that Crawford's ability to switch stances and adjust his game plan will play a crucial role in the fight. He expresses confidence that Crawford will come prepared with a strategy to exploit Canelo's weaknesses, making him a serious threat in the ring.
A lot of people are counting Crawford out. Crawford's a he's smart, he knows what he's doing. Canelo, you know, I mean, he's not that big of a guy. He obviously weighs more, but I mean, you can't take nothing from Crawford. He goes in there to win. So I mean, I feel like it'd be a good fight. You know, it sucks that my brother didn't get the opportunity, but I mean, only Canelo knows why it didn't happen. And you just gotta keep moving forward. You know, gotta keep moving forward. But it's gonna be a good fight to watch. I got Crawford on this one. The thing with him, he adjusts. He's a smart motherfucker. He adjusts. He's not only does he switch from southpaw to orthodox, but he's just a smart. He has a high IQ in boxing, you know, and that's what I feel like. All these fighters that go in there to fight Canelo, they already go in there scared, is what I believe, you know, that which already beats him, you know. So Crawford's gonna go in there to fuck, not gonna go in there to fucking. So I mean, I have it going Crawford, bro, to be honest.
So what are your thoughts about this fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.